It's crazy for me to think that I've been enjoying the game of Airsoft for more than 9 years now. I went from binging Milsim Junkie and Scout the Doggy gameplay videos to making my own videos wherever I can and being sponsored by some of the biggest airsoft brands to ever exist. And over those years, I've talked to thousands of enthusiasts, maybe more than that, swapping tips and learning new ways of doing things. Some of the stuff I've learned from around the world I think could really help some beginners and help even the longtime players. So with the help of Evike, who sponsor what we do here on USAirsoft, I think it's time that I give you all 10 airsoft tips and tricks. I know that a lot of these videos exist out there, so I would like to tell you all to check out more of them to learn even more interesting ways to enjoy airsoft, or to at least make things even easier. We've all heard before not to get a bolt action sniper as your first replica, or any weird unique stuff, which I absolutely recommend that you listen to if you're about to drop $400+ on something like this or this. Because for whatever reason, you think you're going to be as good as Navrich in your very first ever airsoft game. However, I made this list with the help of probably 100 different people's input. Some are obvious tips, and some you might have never thought about. But I would like to also hear your tips and tricks with the comments down below, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give away this brand new Navrich SSP2 High Kappa setup to one lucky commenter. All you need to do is comment down below a helpful airsoft tip, or tell me what you think about this video after you're done watching it. Then make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications for the USAirsoft channel and the Navrich YouTube channel. And that's about it. But sadly, this giveaway is limited to US residents. I will pick the winning comment in 2 weeks, so be sure to come back to this video to see if your comment was chosen. Of course, a shout out goes to the Navrich crew who are allowing me to do this awesome giveaway, and thank you all to the people who join in, as it really helps the channel expand more and more. But with all that said, let's get into the very first tip on my list. Number 10. Bring trash bags. Whenever I go out to a field and I know it's covered in mud, stickers, has a lot of water on it, or if the field is shared with paintballers, I bring plastic bags. Either some small grocery bags or even some full-size trash bags. I would like to take care of my car whenever I can, and that means I try not to smear mud all over my mats or stain my seats with paint that I got all over my clothes. So that's why I bring trash bags. After I'm done playing, I take off my shoes, put on some more comfy shoes, and throw the muddy ones in the trash bag, and then I'll clean them when I get home. Yeah, you'll have to bring some extra shoes and clothes, but I'll take that any day over destroying the inside of my car every weekend. Number 9. How to fix wobbly magazines. This is a quick fix that I remember a lot of old school players doing, but not so much anymore. If your magazines of choice are a little too wobbly in your replicas, then wrap some tape around the upper part of your magazines to act as a shim between the mag well and the magazine itself. Or you can even put some Velcro to line the inside of the mag well. I've used both of these methods a couple times before with some of my M4s in particular, and it always does the trick. It's not so useful for the AK platform though, and that's a shame. Number 8. Make the most of your full stocks. Here's an old school tip that I thankfully still see used. If you're the kind of majestic airsofter who uses one of these bad boys with your AEGs, then I hope you're shoving an extra battery or two in your stock. Now that LiPo batteries are as thin and compact as they are, you shouldn't have battery issues at big games. Once your battery is beginning to flatline on you, just open your full stock up, disconnect your first battery, and swap over to the next one that's already inside. This is more of a tip for the milsimmers and big event players, but hey, you never know when this little bit of knowledge can save you in a pinch. Number 7. Red Hat Dead Rags. Yet another simple tip coming from the milsim crowd, and it's as simple as this. Just use a red hat or a red beanie as a dead rag if you don't want to hold up an actual dead rag. I also use reflective vests, as it's pretty obvious that you're out of the game if you're walking around like this. But check with the field or the event staff before you do this. Sometimes they don't like any dead rag modifications. You will still get hit regardless if you use a dead rag or not, because it's just the nature of airsoft. But if you are holding up a dead rag or using one of these dead rag modifications, then it's a little easier for you to explain that you are already hit. Just try not to get between someone laying down a heavy stream of supportive fire. Number 6. Switch to gas blowbacks. Something I really shouldn't need to mention, but you'll see a lot of people forgetting that AEGs are not cool. Nothing was ever cool about AEGs. Any gas blowback that you see is better than even the best AEGs ever made. But gas blowbacks are too expensive. Then you should probably stop playing Airsoft. Either play it the right way or help me throw you out. Number 6. Freeze your drinks the night before you go out to the field. As someone who's been taking a cooler a lot more lately, either when I go to a skate park or when I go to a blistering hot Texas field in summer, this is life-saving. First, I'll freeze a bunch of water and Powerades the night before, then I'll drop them into my cooler with some ice, and those bad boys will stay cold all day, and maybe even a few days afterwards. And it doesn't matter if it's 100+ degrees when you do this. You won't be able to get away with anything carbonated, but that's a good thing, since you shouldn't be guzzling down soda anyway. But water, juice, and stuff like Gatorade will keep you hydrated. It really all comes down to staying hydrated. The more people live by that rule, the faster we can get to flying cars and world peace. Or real life muscular anime cat girls, whichever you prefer. This next one comes courtesy of Unicorn Leah. Number 5. Stuff your wet boots with newspaper. This one I could have used years ago, before I swore to only get waterproof shoes for Airsoft. But it's super simple. Whenever your boots get wet and you don't want them ending up like these, then grab yourself some newspaper and stuff them. The newspaper will absorb the water like a sponge, and if you put them outside on a hot sunny day, you'll speed up the process. Number 4. Keep a secret toolbox. This tip I didn't understand years ago, but I would meet a lot of techs that kept personal tool sets that no one was allowed to touch, and that included several of their friends. They would still help players, and they would even lend out some tools for quick fixes, but when it came to their personal tool sets, it was off limits. But now that I've done my own lending of tools and some very basic tech work at some fields, I totally understand. I'm missing Allen wrenches in all of my sets, some of my screwdrivers are bent, and I hate when people invite themselves to my tools without asking. Something that pretty much any tech, mechanic, or handyman gets instantly annoyed by. I'm not against helping people. You can still lend out tools if you really want to, but I've come to learn that having a secret tool set is best. These tools will only be meant for your own use, or meant for your very closest friends. No more lost Allen wrenches, and no more fear of asking for stuff back that might already be lost. Number 3 and number 2. I'm about to tell you how to make getting ready at the field so much easier. So, number 3. If you got a hatchback or a truck, bam, that's now your staging area. You've got a place to sit and a big table to set all your things down. But if you're like me and you haven't gotten the minivan that you want so badly yet, then number 2 will help you more. Go to a Walmart or a Home Depot or any other home improvements and hardware store and get yourself a huge tub with wheels and a handle. Then throw all the gear that you use often in that, and you're done. I've been doing that for about 2 years now, and I don't think I'll ever go back to taking a bunch of gear bags ever again. I always take too much stuff. BBs of every common weight, green gas, extra backup replicas for my backup replicas, tools, chargers, cleaning products, and so on. I bring it all, and doing so has helped me pretty much every time I go out to play Airsoft. Yes, my tub is kinda heavy and barely fits in my car, but I'm just wheeling this thing from the car to the staging area, preferably into a shaded area if I can. Just get one with a really good handle on it and a way to lock it if you don't trust people. You don't need to be too gentle with these tubs, and after a long day of Airsoft, when you can barely walk anymore and you're dying for a shower, just throw all your junk into the tub and throw that thing into your car. You can sort it out later. And as for tailgating, well, that's simple enough. Like I said, you've got your own staging area if you got a truck or a hatchback. Take up as much room inside as you wish. Heck, bring a mini grill and make some burgers for yourself and your friends if you want to. Or you can even bring a canopy and some folding chairs. You might have to walk back and forth a little more between games, but that's fine with me if I've got my own little oasis waiting for me. But if you got a lifted truck, that might be a little bit more challenging. But now I've got a couple bonus tips. I got a bunch of recommendations for this list, so here are a couple quick ones. If you're about to go out to a big game or an event and you know that you're forgetful, then make a checklist. Make sure you've got all the important things that would ruin your day if you didn't have them on you. You can even go back over that list before you leave the field or arena if you tend to forget things even at the venue. Next up, bring some freaking deodorant. I was really going to make this an actual number tip because some of you people really never take a hint that you're a walking radioactive nightmare by the way you smell. Maybe you can say I'm judgmental, but I can't stand the stanky cheese smell that some people give off. And I'll tell my friends when they stink. I'll admit I go a little overboard by bringing a whole set of extra clothes wherever I go, along with sprays and deodorant, but just a little care for yourself can go a long way. And then we have my favorite of the 3 mini tips. Don't pour $1,000 into the game before you really try it out at an actual venue. Use Google more, I know, shocking, and rent out your mystery box winnings if you don't like them. We all see new players with way too much gear that they'll never use, and maybe you started like that as well. A day in the life as a rental, however, will really show you how people play, how they use cover, what is commonly used, and so on. You can also ask a bunch of questions at the field, and maybe you'll end up wanting the G&G that you're using, or the Specna arms, or whatever they're using as rentals at that venue. But if you don't even know where you can go to actually play Airsoft in the first place, then Google is your best friend. Do as I did when I first wanted to play Airsoft but didn't know where to go. Head off to Google and then type in Airsoft in. I get asked a lot in video comments, in live streams, or even in person, hey, where's the best place to go play Airsoft in Connecticut, or in New Jersey, or in Sweden? I can't tell them more than just, I don't know, Google it. I travel a lot, but there's still a bunch of places I've never been to and possibly will never get the chance to go to. So if you need to find a good store or a field, then do some searching on Google and make a phone call to see if the place that you're interested in is open for business. It's as simple as that. Then last for my mini tips, if you get a mystery box from Evike or anywhere else, but you're not too happy with what you got, why not rent it out? You can go to your local fields and see if the staff will let you rent out whatever you want. I used to do this with 3 different M4s at the same time, and I would make $70 every weekend after the field got its cut. You won't get rich quick doing this, but that's gas money. That's a good dinner. That's even grocery money. You'll be making some extra coin on the side, and the field can cater to more rentals that can end up becoming new players one day. So everyone wins. And if you're gone from the field for a month or 2, that money should build up as long as your replicas are being rented out. There's a lot more that I could list, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have some great tips and tricks that could help me and a lot of other players out. So again, comment your tips down below or tell me what you think about the videos on USAirsoft lately, and follow the other steps to get yourself entered in to win the Novrich SSP2 bundle that we have going on now. All of this needs to go to someone out there. But with that said, let's get into my very last personal tip that I use pretty much every time I go out to any field or arena. And I know by talking about this tip, I might just annoy some people in the future, but tip number 1, download as many food apps as possible. Some of these tips don't just apply to Airsoft, but this one I make the most of in Airsoft. You see, I don't mind picking up food for my friends or the staff at Airsoft fields, as long as they pay for their food. I don't mind driving to go pick it up, and that's because I'll make the orders through apps. By doing this, I rack up huge chunks of points ordering with McDonald's, Whataburger, Chick-fil-A, and more. If the place has an app with a points reward system, I'll make big orders through it. I can get free Domino's pizzas pretty much anytime I want one. I can order one right now, or I can just walk down the street and get a milkshake because I have so many points that have just been stacking up. I can even enter into big contests or promotions whenever the restaurant is hosting one. I've made orders as big as $70 to $100, and I've maxed out several apps before. You could also do this with apps like Upside if you tend to carpool a lot. People pitch in for gas, you pump it, but you make a little side money that will build up eventually. If you like driving like I do and don't mind picking up a bunch of food during lunch break, then try this out sometime. People will appreciate that you're volunteering to grab the food, and in return, you'll have free food to claim whenever you want it. And if you make a lot of big trips, you'll definitely appreciate something like this. But just like that, we're done with this video. Please go ahead and write your own tips down below, or subscribe now if you haven't already. I've got more videos on the way, and hopefully soon, a Canadian trip to get ready for. I've got some big things planned. However, I appreciate you all for watching, and I appreciate Mission Airsoft in San Antonio, Texas for helping me film this video. Mission Airsoft has always been an amazing place to begin the game of Airsoft in San Antonio, and I'd always recommend checking them out. Of course, all their info can be found in the description down below, along with the rules for our Novrich SSP2 giveaway. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, Texas, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time. Tony, what's a tip or trick about Airsoft that you use that not many other people do?
I actually a firm believer in the ice plate. I like to freeze it overnight and put it on the back of my plate carrier, and all day I actually sip on cold water. Keeps me alive all day, keeps me running, keeps me in the game. Easy $20, best thing ever.
And this keeps you cold in your vest too, right?
Yeah, essentially I just have it on my back, and then all day I just sip on cold water, as long as you freeze it overnight. I don't see many people have this, and then at the end of the day I see a lot of people just fall off because of the heat.